Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so happy to be here, and I am so happy to have you here today. Today's video is one that I'm so excited to film because it has been forever since I posted a video on this channel. I feel like life just comes in waves sometimes and can get really crazy, but I am so happy to be sitting here and filming with you. We are going to be talking about the mid-year freakout tag. We're going to be talking about the best books that I read this year, my favorite, some that didn't quite work for me, but I'm just so excited to sit down and chat. You might also notice we have a little bit of a different setup going on because I recently got a second bookshelf and a new reading chair, which I will have a vlog up of the whole experience. So stay tuned for that on my channel, but I am just so excited and I feel very fun filming in front of my bookshelves. So this is going to be our mid-year book freakout tag. I am following the one that Becca and the Books does, which has the original creator linked below as well as all of the questions. So if you want to look at any of the information down below about the book tag, it will be there for you. I just want to hop right in and start talking to you guys. So I'm going to say that without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we're going to hop straight into today's video. So the first question is, what is your favorite book that you've read so far this year? And this is really hard because I have read 3 really amazing books that we are going to talk about shortly. These were amazing 5 stars, but the one that I have chosen for this, and ultimately I think has my favorite spot, is of course Fangs with Benefits by Kath Richards. I love Kath so much, as you might be able to tell by my little Kath Richards shrine here, because she is just the kindest, most incredible person. Her stories just capture this warmth and just like feeling of coming home. I Love Most Brutal, which is right here and right here, are my favorites by her, but I Love Most Fatal is also like an all-time favorite. And Bar Down Baby just came out. It's an accidental pregnancy one night stand hockey rom-com. Definitely check that one out. But Fangs with Benefits is her traditional debut, and I'm so incredibly excited for Kath because like she is just the most incredible person, and this book is so good. I found myself giggling, I was crying, I felt so hard for these characters, and I just loved it so much. I also had the pleasure of reading this as an advanced reader copy, so it doesn't come out technically until the 24th of September on Kindle and audio, and then paperback will be releasing early next year for us in Canada and the US. This book is fantastic. It's between Elijah and Molly, and Elijah is such a good MMC. He is so sweet. He is so awkward. He is a vampire who has not interacted with humans in like 200 years, and suddenly he needs a job. So he takes Molly, our FMC's work promotion, and then Molly is forced to train Elijah only to realize that he's actually very useless at his job and knows nothing and has no idea how he could get hired for this position. There's also such a wonderful cast of characters around these two in the corporate office. It has a lot of talk about the awfulness of corporate life, the hierarchy, and how people get passed over for promotions that they are so deserving of. Molly is like a multi-dimensional grump. Like, she's kind of grumpy, but really she's just like same girl, just same. Elijah is so sweet, and he is so funny because he hasn't interacted with humans, so he was like, I'm gonna make Molly feel the most comfortable she has ever felt in her entire life. I will say this wonderful thing, and Molly's like, dude, that's kind of weird. That's on up with that one. And just his like wholesomeness was so absolutely adorable. And I love these two characters so much. The next question is, what is the best sequel that you have read so far this year? So if we're going purely off of sequels, it's going to be One for the Road by Elliot Fletcher. I love the Maccabee Brothers series. They're right here, and this book comes out shortly. It's actually not even released yet, and I also read it as an arc. So I know I'm giving you 2 arcs, so I do have another one talk to you about. Basically, the Maccabee brothers are about 3 brothers in the Scottish Highlands finding their own happily ever afters. The final book, One for the Road, is about Callum, who is a physician on this small isle, and he ends up fake dating Isla, who is a single mom who moved to the small town with her now ex-husband, only for her to get cheated on, and she's left with just her daughter and is trying to do her best and start her dreams. It is so incredible and such a wonderful way to wrap up the series, but again, that does not release until August. So I guess my takeaway from this is like read the first 2 Maccabee brothers in preparation for the 3rd one. However, if you want a book that's already released, I do have a bit of a take on this one. Technically, it's not a sequel because it is a start of a new series. That is Rumors and Whiskey by Victoria Wilder. I loved this book with my entire heart. I love the Bourbon Boys, and this was such a wonderful continuation of the story. It's interconnected in some ways, but not quite, and it's just so good. This is about Julian and Wynne, and Julian ends up meeting Wynne when she is status in witness protection after she experienced some truly horrific things. So please do check your trigger warnings because this is definitely the darkest book that I'm going to talk about today. So Julian meets Win, and there's immediately connections, there's immediately sparks, but Win can't form a relationship because of the position that she's in. Something ends up happening and she's able to come home, and we get to meet her wonderful sisters, Stevie and Joe, and the other crone whiskey women who make up this family of 5, 3 daughters, a mother, and a grandmother. And they are just so much fun. This book is definitely more character focused though. So if you're wanting super high suspense elements, maybe go more with the Bourbon Brothers series, because this one's going to be more of a character driven plot with less happening on the suspense end, but still having those classic Victoria Wilder vibes and energy brought to the story. Personally, I just absolutely adored how Julian treated Win like she was just everything to him. And also how even though she had survived this trauma, they were still able to be like normal together, which I know sounds kind of silly, but just Julian knowing what she'd been through and then treating her how she wants to be treated just as a normal person and enjoy the things that she wanted to enjoy was so good. And I just found myself falling into these pages. A movie was playing in my head, and this was a perfect sequel to the Bourbon Brothers. The next question is a new release that has come out but you haven't had a chance to read quite yet. For this, I think I'm going to say The Someday Garden, even though literally this morning, like 20 minutes ago, I just started it before sitting down. But I think this is my answer because it's the one book that I've been really wanting to give a go. I feel like Ashley Paulson books are so interesting to me, but I haven't had one that has fully 100% hit perfectly. And so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that maybe The Sunday Garden is going to be my Ashley Paulson book. So far what I know about it is going to be a little bit vague because I haven't read the description and I kind of want to go in like a little bit blind. But from what I've gathered so far, it is about this girl whose name I cannot remember. And she is a horticulturist and she gets transferred to a garden that she once visited with her best friend. And she ends up finding this grumpy man in this garden, and of course it's magical realism, so I think he's trapped here. And so far so good. We are just getting introduced to the garden in such a whimsical place, and I would say that this is probably the one that I've been most excited for that has released that I haven't read yet. I just feel like there's really great potential for me to have a win with Ashley Paulson, and so I'm really hoping that it is this book. I think it should come as no surprise that my most anticipated release for the rest of the year is ACOTAR 6, because what do you even mean? I love ACOTAR so much. It is the series that really made me find a home in reading, and is just always there if I need to escape and want to be with characters that just feel like home. And so to say I'm excited for ACOTAR 6 would be an understatement. I also think it's hilarious that we are so close to release date. It comes out in October and we know nothing. We have no title. We have no description. We don't even know like what is going on, but I'm still excited. I did hear a crazy theory this morning that the reason that we haven't gotten the title for ACOTAR 6 yet is because it is just going to be the same title for ACOTAR 6, 7, and 8, and then it's just going to be like Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. And I thought that was kind of insane because I was like, you could be right, but also I feel like if it was just ACOTAR 1, ACOTAR 2, ACOTAR 3 instead of ACOTAR, ACOMAF, and ACOWAR, it would get a little confusing and also be kind of boring. So I don't think it's going to be, but that's my like one little theory of what I heard this morning to make this section more than 35 seconds. My biggest disappointment this year is my next question, and I actually am so excited to sit down and talk to you about Triptych, because what even was this? I feel like we got reviews from everyone being like, this is a 5-star, this is a 6-star. The yearning. What was yearning? Where was it? Because certainly it wasn't in this book. I don't know what was happening in this book. Well, I do. I fully comprehended everything, have no fear. But I wish that I didn't, because I gave it 1 star. I absolutely hated this book. There was no connection. There was no yearning. He was so mean to her, and yet she acknowledged that he was mean to her, yet she was stuck loving him. I was like, what is going on? No. It's a no, it's a no, it's a no. The only thing I liked was the cat for a second, but other than that, I hated this book. I do not think that it had the depth that it should have had with handling topics such as addiction, nor at times the care. It really just felt like it was added in for a plot device. I don't understand why one of the things happened, and I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to be a spoiler, but like that didn't need to happen for this book. It just felt like everything got thrown into this book, shaken around, and then it was put in the book. Swiftly moving on from that, we now have the biggest surprise that I read this year, and I think it has to go to Play Along by Liz Tom 40. Now, the Windy City series and I have had a bit of an interesting relationship, so let's break it down. I first read Caught Up, which was the 3rd book in the series, Single Dad Nanny, and I gave it 3 stars. I just didn't like that her nickname for him was Daddy, and it's not my vibe, and also there were some other things in the book that didn't 100% work for me, so I gave it 3 stars. It was like a fun time, but not my favorite. But wait, even before that, I read Mile High, and I DNF'd it. Sorry, a year ago, a year before this, many moons ago, I read Mile High and I DNF'd it, and then read Caught Up to Give It Another Chance, and I gave it 3 stars. And then I like took a little break. There was hype around In Her Own League coming out. There were whispers of things going on, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick up Play Along because everyone loves it so much. And when I read Caught Up, my favorite parts of it were Isaiah and Kennedy. 5 stars. Fantastic. So beautiful. I love the story. I love their connection. I love the golden retrieverness of Isaiah. It was so good. This book follows Isaiah and Kennedy. Kennedy is a trainer for the baseball team that Isaiah plays for and has a strict no fraternizing with the players rule. But Isaiah is just, he's so damn bad and he's flirting with her. But all of it is like very fun and very lighthearted and like very jokey between them, never like crossing a line of her actually not wanting to like play along, no pun intended. Until one night in Vegas, these two accidentally get married when they are under the influence, and they wake up and they are married. And in order for Kennedy to keep her job, they are fake married, and then they slowly fall in love, and it is so good. These two also have a deeper connection in the prologue that I'll let you discover, but it was just wonderful. I really had a wonderful time, and I was so surprised how much I loved it, given how the other 2 books that I had read didn't quite work for me at times. I see why this is everyone's favorite. I see why everyone says that Isaiah Rhodes is what everyone should be going for and is the gold standard. I understand now, and I would agree. The next question is, who is your new favorite author, author situation? And for that, I have to say that so far this year, I don't quite have an answer for you. I feel like it takes a while for me to develop a love of an author to be a favorite author. I can't just read one book by them and be like sad and be like, this is a new favorite author for me, because I've read books before by authors that I seemingly love, and I picked up other things and they like didn't work. I don't have any authors that have absolutely sprung up and just been like absolute favorites, but I will say that Victoria Wilder has moved up on my favorite authors list. I've definitely been really loving her, and so she's moved her way up. And I'm also possibly keeping my eyes on Liz Tomfordy because I loved Play Along. The Right Move I gave 4 stars too. I had a lot of fun, but then Rewind It Back didn't quite work for me. Caught Up didn't quite work for me, and Mile High I DNF. So I'm curious to see if In Her Own League plus her new series would like add her to a favorite author list or an auto by author list as she creeps her way up. But Play Along was just so good that I'm excited to see what else she has to offer. For a book that made you cry, I literally only have Fangs with Benefits to talk to you guys about. I literally only do because it is the only book that I've read so far this year that has made me cry. And it wasn't even because it was sad. It wasn't even because it was sad. It was just because I cared for these characters so deeply, and to watch everything that was happening with them happen, I like literally lost it and was just crying. I also feel that like when it hit me, I was going through my breakup era, and I just needed to fall in love and fall into a book, and I was able to do that with One for the Road by Elliot Fletcher, which will be here when it releases, and then also Fangs with Benefits. So to fall for these characters so hard, to see how much they love each other and to have the quiet love that they have, it's the kind of love I want in my life. Sitting listening to vinyl records, watching cheesy romance movies, just sitting in silence next to each other and enjoying each other's company, being each other's biggest cheerleaders. It was just incredible, and so I just cried. And I love the story so much, so my only answer is Fangs with Benefits, which I know is kind of lame because I already mentioned it, but you're going to hate the rest of this video if you don't want me mentioning other books again. So we shall move into the next question. For the next 2 questions, my answers are the same, and this is where I was alluding to, you'll hate me if I am saying the same books, but my newest fictional crush is going to be Elijah Rhodes. It's also going to be Julian, and then it's also going to, of course, be Elijah from Fangs with Benefits, because I love them so much. Each of them, in their own way, is so damn bad, loves their women, and does the smallest and most adorable things to make them feel so seen and so safe. I love them, which leads to the next question of who are your newest favorite fictional characters, and I have to talk about the women in these books. I love Kennedy with my whole heart. I love Wynn and all she's been through, and the strong woman that she is. And Molly is just our multidimensional grump who's trying to chase her dreams, but is also like a little bit scared too, so she's staying in the place she thinks she should be, but then she finds this beautiful love, and she also realizes that she is worth more and that she should be following her dreams. So I love them to pieces, all of them. And so The men get my fictional crush, but so do the women. Honestly, they also are my fictional crushes, and then my favorite characters are the women in these books. What book made you happy? And for that, I'm gonna go with Kissed by the Gods. This is a book that I have been hearing whispers about, hearing things about, and been very, very curious. And so I decided that it was going to be time. I was going to sit down and read this after it had got picked up traditionally and released finally. And this book made me really happy because I loved it. And that doesn't really happen with romantasy for me very often. I feel like I'm very, very picky with my fantasy and my romance. And this one was just very enjoyable. So it is about our FMC who is living in a small village, then has to keep her powers under wraps because she doesn't entirely understand them or know what's going on. The world that she lives in is very cruel, and when her brothers come of age, they get taken to work in the mines. One day, her brother was about to be snatched up on his wedding day, and she loses it and kills the soldiers. Then comes a warrior riding a magical Pegasus to take her away to a training academy where she will now understand her powers. The found family in this is amazing. The lore is awesome, and the magical Pegasi who talk to them are a lot of fun. I do want them to be more expanded in book 2, but I had just the best time, and I feel like finding a romantasy book that like really worked for me and that I really enjoyed is a very hard task right now. And so I was really happy when I read the story and it just clicked and I was enjoying it and I was invested in it and I just really liked it. So that's all I have to say. I'm really excited for the second book. I'm really curious to where the story goes, and I loved the prequel novella that I read after, Unwritten by the Gods. That was like 4 hours on audio, and it was just a very nice time to be back into this world. The most beautiful editions that I've hauled this year are editions that I actually am shaking to even own, and the idea of having them in my collection and the thought of seeing them every day and how that actually being a reality is insane to me. And it was an incredible Facebook Marketplace find that I got The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood in the Afterlight exclusive edition with the alternate dust jacket. It has the original one underneath, but these are just the most stunning books. It is a book that I have wanted for so long and have never been able to get because the price has been so astronomical and so out of my price range and budget. And so I found this on Facebook Marketplace for a steal of a deal. And then I saw that the person had also posted Love Theoretically, and I said, would you possibly do a bundle of them? And she said yes. I got them for an amazing price, one that was in my budget, one that did not break the bank, and I actually cannot believe that I own these because these are my two favorite Ali Hazelwood books, excluding her paranormal ones, because I feel like Ali Hazelwood paranormal and Ali Hazelwood STEM rom-com are two very different categories. I love them with my entire heart. I never thought that I would get to own these. The back of The Love Hypothesis, which is so stunning. The back of Love Theoretically. I just love them with my whole heart. The next question is the best book to film adaptation. And for me, that has to 100% be People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. The book to movie adaptation of this was incredible. I loved the movie so much. It feels like one of those rom-coms that you're going to come back to and come back to and come back to and just enjoy and love, and just like it has the makings of something so beautiful. The book was good. Definitely my least favorite Emily Henry. I just felt like it bordered a little bit too much on cheating for me. And while the movie still has that kind of we're best friends and we're with other people, I didn't feel that it like was as borderline as the book. And I love the actors in this movie, the style, the vibes, the way that color was used, the orange and the blue, and just like everything was impeccable. So 100% People We Meet on Vacation has to be my favorite adaptation. And lastly, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? My answer is all of them. I want to read all of the books. I am in a slight reading slump because Rumors and Whiskey absolutely destroyed me, and like, how does a book make you feel like that and you just like move on from it? I don't know, but I'm hoping that The Someday Garden will help with that, which is what I'm currently reading. I just feel like in my soul, I want to continue reading more books that are bringing me joy. I feel like this year and the ending of last year kind of had a bit of a weird where I was like reading, but I wasn't reading books that I absolutely adored and absolutely loved. So I want to continue reading books that I'm really obsessed with. The books that I have on my radar that I want to read are definitely In Her Own League by Liz Tom-Forty. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'm curious to see if I'm gonna like it. I also really want to read The Wild Goose Chase. It's about like an antique goose that just is like on the loose, causing a little bit of chaos, and that seems quite fun. And then lastly, my probably most anticipated release that's coming out later this month, it's gonna be Fossil Feud. I've just heard amazing things. I love a STEM romance. I love when a man has little slutty glasses, and Maggie North had spoken about how she wrote the MMC to be the biggest green flag, and I'm just so excited to see that gonna play out on page. So I think that those are definitely the books that I have like a special little key that I want to get to before the end of the year, but I just want to read good books. I just want to read all the books and I want to really, really enjoy them. So that is my answer. So that brings us to the end of today's video. I'm so excited for what the rest of the year has in store. I feel like there are so many good releases, as I was saying, and I just want to read them all. I also feel like I have already found 3 new amazing 5-star beautiful books that I am so happy to have discovered. So if I can find just 3 more in the latter half of the year, I would be absolutely so happy to do so. But we'll see what ends up happening with my reading. If you've made it this far and want to leave me a comment but you don't know what to say, leave me a lightning bolt emoji for play along, because it's like sitting on my floor like right here and it's all I can see right now. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everybody.